You tried your best to not make it obvious, but God, you couldn't really took your eyes off of his face. He looked so serene, so calm. You know the kind of a peace and silence you feel when you come back home after a long, hectic day? You look like that, there lying on your chest, feeling your heart beat against your cheeks, while it was more of like pounding against your chest. How have you been? Everything went still on his whispered question. Your heart, your hand, your breath, everything shuddered. Fine, he whispered back after a moment. You wondered if you could feel your heart dropping. You seem like you didn't miss me at all. He chuckled bitterly. And you did? You whispered, making him look up to you. You were half up against the headboard, meeting his eyes, leaning a little. You left me, and I didn't, he said with sour expression. You both were in love, madly, like any teenagers would be. The first love that don't end up together according to myths. Neither you ever forget that. It used to burn inside your chest, igniting the fire of unexplainable things. It was in US. When you went there to study and he happened to share the same institute with you, everything happened so naturally as if it was written on the paper that can neither be burned or erased. That was until you figured out who he was. From where did he belong? He never lied to you about his identity. You just never bothered to ask much, so blinded in love. Until he did tell you who his father was, what his future was. It was one night where you were imagining your future with him, and the other you were planning to run away from him, and you did. You ran away without meeting him last time, without a word or note, and he knew what it was. Heck, he might even knew where you went. He didn't followed. He couldn't. Your happiness mattered to him more than the will of his own heart. If you could feel safe away from him, then be it. Everything was ruined and finished until destiny came into play again. I was scared. He whispered and he shook his head. You were never scared of me. He said, correcting you. It was true. You were never scared of him, even now. I'm scared of your world, the rules here, the people here. You said helplessly, looking in his eyes. It was laughable how you ran away from something for so long only to end up in that exact thing, only to end up facing your worst fear. I didn't wanted this. All my life I longed for a family. We can't have that, he whispered with tears stinging in your eyes. I don't belong here. People in your world are wild, Junko. You breathe it with your hand going to his soft locks. I didn't plan on marrying you or your sister. It was all unplanned. He said, clarifying he didn't wanted you to think that he didn't respected your wishes. I know, but there could be a way out, right? You breathed out the words so casually it made his heart drop. There isn't, he said deadpan with no emotions. There should be. We can't be together, Junko. You insisted. You watch him sigh, trying to breathe down his emotions, but you couldn't see past your desires. You don't expect us to work, do you? You ask with emotions building in your throat. Or are you perhaps doing it on purpose? The last sentence comes out more of like a statement than caution. You watch him jerk up from bed, standing on ground, giving you his back, fumbling with his shirt. You try to continue only to be cut short by his rough voice. You think I'm keeping you here on purpose? You think you have a choice now? Try going away from me and they will kill you in an hour. Try that. He snapped, turning back to you with his anger visible in his eyes. I let you go years ago just for your happiness. It's you who choose to walk in back again. It's you who did that. You don't get to blame me for that. He said with his voice racing slightly, your eyes filled with tears, looking at him, snapping at you. He was right. You knew he was. But how come there is no way out of this? There must be, right? Why do you think I'm trying to send your sister to Russia, huh? He roared, looking at you. So she could live a safe life. He answered his own caution, making her mind numb. You think I wouldn't let you go again like I did before? He said, raising his index finger to yourself. I would do that in a blink of an eye if that's what makes you happy, but not at the cost of your life. He left you alone after roughly stating the truth, leaving you alone with your truth and emotions. A month passed with him constantly ignoring you after that day. Okay, not a month, but 3 weeks. And you tried your best to reach out to him on and off. You didn't know why you were doing it. According to how desperately you asked him to leave you that night, you shouldn't be acting like this. But there you were taking glances at him who was working on laptop. You didn't knew what you wanted to say or do. You convinced yourself that it was nothing, but deep down you knew you wanted his attention like he always gave you so effortlessly. Old habits die hard. Years passed and you're still used to his attention like you were once. He was the only person beside your sister that got this close to your heart. Growing up without a family messes you up one way or another. When you were starved of love, you wouldn't cherish the breadcrumbs or even as much as the idea of it, whereas Jungkook filled you with it. He gave you everything you wanted and it didn't change a bit. Be ready by evening. We have to attend the event, he announced casually, still focused on his laptop, and your movement halted. You knew what this was. The event is gonna be the unspoken display of the wife of the underworld leader. He said, looking at him deadpan, you're gonna claim me as your wife officially. He continued, it's gonna be a warning for them, you're off limits. They touch you, they die. He stated with his finger working on laptop, making us cough. Putting yourself in trouble and for what? You stated angrily. The unspoken truth lingered in surrounding. What enough, Anna? He said coldly. Stop it, Jungkook. What would you do when they will find out that you spared me and my sister? What will you answer to people? You snapped. It was sick. In underworld, you don't spare. Not a family member, not a friend, not a colleague. Treats you are just betrayal. There's no privilege, regardless of what you feel. You gotta kill them. He's a leader. There are people who are waiting for one single mistake so they could caution him and take it all down. He was risking it all for what? Didn't he knew that there are people always out for his blood? Why is he giving them a reason? They will never find out. He growls, staring at you. They will, then I will kill them, he said, getting up. How many peoples will you kill, huh? You ask, being done. Everyone and anyone who tried to set their eyes on you. He roared, his eyes becoming red with anger, making you clench your jaw. You're mad. You half raising your hand in surrender. Yes, I am. Now be ready by night. He said begrudgingly, leaving you alone. Yes, he was, but you weren't. You knew what was right and you were gonna do it. If he's stubborn, then so were you. I'm not going. Your angry voice echoed in the room, making him raise his eyebrow. Yes, you are. Cry over it. He said, walking close to bed. Your glare remained firm. If you try to force me, I'll kill you. You said deadpanned. It took a moment for Jungkook to compose his angry expression instead of laughing out loud. Yeah, sure, you will kill him. In fact, he wasn't angry at all. He was simply amused watching you throw tantrums. He missed it. He nodded his head, looking calm, but in next moment he was lunging for you, picking you up. You almost crawled away on bed instinctively as he lunged for you, but he was fast. You hit at his chest, swinging your legs aggressively, but no use. Let go of me, he yelled, still struggling in his hold, and he did. He did let go of you in a bath filled with water, making you gasp. You looked at him wide eyed, then back at your drenched clothes and skin. Come here, I'll kill you today. You roared, reaching, extending your hand out as if you will actually kill him if you get your hands on him. He hunched down beside the bathtub, pushing your shoulders back so your body was more in water. Calm your ass down, okay? He said calmly, making you glare at him, his hand reaching down to your shirt button, opening them. And how did you plan to kill me, huh? You couldn't even scream properly when you were being dragged. He mocked, taking your shirt off. Shut up. You said deadpan, trying not to focus how he effortlessly undressed you. No, what were you even life instinct? Asking them what they were doing? He mocked again, referring to the question you asked dumbly when they dragged you. I was scared. You said gritting your teeth, throwing water on him by your hand from bathtub. Bet you were. He said wiping the water from his face. Lift your hips. He said, and you swore you felt your heart come to rest in your stomach. Ignoring the heat creeping to your cheeks and the sudden humping of your heart, you did as he asked, watching him take off your pant and then inners, leaving you bare to his eyes. You was used to it once ago. It felt right. The rest of the time, he mocked you for your poor life and death instincts, and you tried your best to not let your cheeks get red as he shampooed your hair and bathed you. You did glare at him after every other moment, though. Had your hair all while you protested that you didn't want it to go, yet he didn't bother. Zipping up your dress that flowed down till your ankle with off shoulder, he looked at you, settling your hair behind your ear. He looked at you again, taking in the overall appearance. Oh, yes, wait, he said as he eye fell on your bare neck. The next moment, he was tightening the diamond necklace on your neck. It was delicate, just like you always liked. You probably would have brought the same necklace for yourself as he did. Something about the fact that he remembered your choice warmed your heart. Pretty trophy wife, you said with bitterness. You're gonna be respected regardless of how you look or what you do. He said, raking another gaze down your dress warmly. You watched him go before he left the car, expecting you to follow. Gathering went well. You tried to cheer your mood up, but you couldn't. Not when you were so pissed off at your dear husband. Why is he risking everything for fuck's sake? He just have to let you go and you would disappear somewhere. What's so hard about it that he can't understand it? You were beyond pissed at him. You didn't seem to bother much about it. He had his hand wrapped around your waist all night, and deep down, you felt safest. You were safe in between the people who wouldn't think twice before they would burn you alive. His warmth always makes your mind cloudy, although your anger was still there. Watch him talk with few people and you roll your eyes in annoyance. He sat at the minibar in corner. Don't drink anything there and don't get out of my sight. You remembered his words earlier making you scoff. Fuck him and his rules. You grabbed a drink from the tray there that was settled for guests. Bringing the alcohol based champagne, you bring it to your mouth, taking a big gulp. Your throat burned, making you close your eyes. Took another big sip, half emptying the glass. You didn't even liked it. You just wanted to piss him off. When his voice reached your ears, you knew it was successful. What are you doing? He said roughly, taking the glass away from you. I can't even drink being your trophy wife now. You mocked looking at him and you want him grown, almost ruffling his hair in frustration, but it didn't. That would be inappropriate for the event. Rabbi's drink, you idiot, he whispered, yelled to you, leaning down to your level. Your face paled on instant as you looked at him with wide eyes. He didn't need you to say something more. You didn't know where he went right after revealing a grenade on you. You watched him going at the backyard to staff and to other people. You couldn't focus for too long. Your body reacted to the new drug quicker than you expected. Your eyes fell on your surrounding and it makes sense. There were room upstairs and we grabbed drinks. It was underworld event. Of course it would be wild and questionable. You tried to breathe normally but your body was getting warm. Their body increased temperature, causing you to sweat, and you could feel the pressure settling in your lower belly. The pulse reached down to in between your leg, causing you to gulp. It was questionably getting hot, and to your embarrassment, the cold air was sizzling on your skin. Tears of frustration sting behind your eyes, and before you knew, Jungle was done and the event, and you both were heading home. The whole way you thought you hid your body's reaction well, but you noticed your increased breathing, the way you clenched your thighs, and your hand going to your neck again and again to wipe the sweat off. You noticed everything. It was him who hid it well that he was aware of your every body reaction. You glanced at him, taking off the watch and then tie. Take off your clothes. His statement shook you a little. Huh? You hung as if in days of fever. Won't be okay with just a shower. Take off your clothes. He said again, looking dead in your eyes, taking off his own coat. How did he knew what you were thinking? Are you that dumb or see-through? Or is it just him? His actions spoke louder than words as he tenderly cleaned her up, drying her with soft towel before wrapping her in a plush robe. He carried her to their large bathtub, easing her into the warm, misty water as he slowly washed her. His touch was gentle, almost reverent. All while you were half conscious only, it was normal for the drug to leave its impact for the night or even for the next day. It was expected. He carefully washed her hair, massaging her scalp with gentle fingers. He soaped up washed clothes and tenderly cleaned every inch of her body. His touch loving and caring as he lifted her out of the tub. He wrapped her in a fluffy towel and carried her to their bed. Just a moment later, he joined her, holding her in his arm, making sure she was fine and comfortable. She lay curled up against him, her head resting on his chest, her breath warm against his skin. His arms were wrapped protectively around her, his large hands played possessively on her back. He heard you whine and snuggled closer, and his hand immediately going to your soft hair, caressing them to convey some comfort. He looked at you for a while, then shook his head. Always stubborn, getting yourself in trouble. Whispered, looking at you adoringly. It's fine. You are his mess now. He would be here to clean up everything whether you like it or not. Not like any one of us you have an option anyways. You both were stuck and he don't remember thanking destiny more than he did in that moment.